Hello, my name is Luke, and thank you for joining me today in this video presentation. Today we will be discussing installing a CMS workstation using a CMS version 7 or later installer. To start this, we'll need access to both the CMS version 7 installer and your CMS license key. You may gain access to both pieces of information by logging into your CMS support page. And for information on how to do this, please watch our video on accessing the CMS updates page. The final thing we'll need is a map drive directly to the New Haven software folder on the server it's been installed on. For information on how to do this, please review our video on how to create a map drive. Once you've gathered all this information, we can then go ahead and start the install process. To do that, we'll just need to double-click on this CMS file. Once you've double-clicked on that, you'll see the Install Aware wizard pop up. This will take a minute to gather its contents and process through the export of this information. Please give it its time to do so, and we'll then proceed. Once that's finished, we are then presented with the Welcome to CMS Setup screen. You'll notice that there are a few things different from our previous version of the installer of this software. The first being that we give you a progress bar on the left-hand side on how far you are through the installation. You also note that this installer indicates that it is both a server and workstation installer and updater. And finally, at the bottom here, we have a new option to perform a test install, or a test environment install. This is purely for purposes of testing CMS, and information on how that works will be covered in a separate video. Once you've verified the information on the screen, just select Next to proceed. We are then presented with the license agreement page. Please do review the information on this, as this information is important, related to not only the license of CMS use, but your current support contracts. And once that's been reviewed, just go ahead and check mark the I accept the license agreement button and press the Next button. On the next page, we are then presented with the README information window. On this window, we have important information about installing CMS 7, new information about that update, and also direct contact information to the technical support department in case you have further questions. Once you've reviewed this information, please select Next. We are now given the installation type window. On this window, we are presented with options to both do a full server install, checkmarked by default, and the Workstation CMS installation. We must select the Workstation CMS installation here. If you leave this selected, this can cause serious issues if you already have a CMS server installed elsewhere on the network. Once you've gone ahead and checkmarked Workstation CMS installation, please click Next. We are now given the destination folder window. From here, we have two options. The first is to go ahead and locate that mapped network drive to the New Haven software folder on your server, the CMS folder section. To do this, please select Browse CMS. You'll then open up My Computer and highlight the map drive in question. Once you've gone ahead and done that, please select OK, and you'll see that this is highlighted here. Once that's been highlighted and you see the drive letter listed in the CMS folder, look down towards the local workstation folder section. This is to indicate where the workstation will be installing workstation-specific files on the computer. By default, we have C program files New Haven software, and we normally recommend that you leave it there. However, if for some reason you do wish to change that to a different directory, just select Browse Local and browse to the section on your computer where you'd like to install that to. Once that's been finished, the final thing that you'll notice here is that we list not only the amount of space required to install the CMS Workstation Installer on your computer, but also how much space you have left. Note that MB is greater than KB, so we definitely have plenty of space available on this particular system. Once you've reviewed this information and made sure that those folder directories are correct, let's select Next. We are then presented with the Start menu window. On here, you'll have an option to go ahead and name the folder that will be installed into your Start menu. We normally recommend that you leave that as New Haven Software. Then you'll notice that we have options here to create shortcuts for all Windows users on the system, or just the user you're currently logged into. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as all users, but your choice depends on your current security situation. Once that's been selected, we then hit Next. We are now presented with the Ready to Install window. On this particular window, it's our last chance to go back and make further changes and update information if for some reason we believe that we need to change any of that. However, I'm comfortable with the selections that I've made, so I'm just going to select Next. We are now presented with the Installing CMS window. On this particular window, you'll see the progress bar quickly going through, installing files onto the system itself. You'll also, at this point, have an option to review the release notes of CMS by clicking on the window above. Once that process has finished, you're then presented with the CMS Setup Complete window. On this window, if you wish to run CMS, right after you click on the Finish button, just make sure that this Run CMS Now button is checked. If for some reason you wish to not run it, you can also uncheck it as well. We'll leave that checked for the moment and then select Finish. Congratulations, you have now installed CMS Workstation on your system. Thank you again for joining me today in this video presentation.